Oh, hello, more good best my and I'm back with a oldie but a goodie. As you may or may not have noticed, three videos of the What If Kurama Was Izuku's Mother video playlist are gone. That's because I'm going to replace them and possibly make it more because God, that latter half just. Mm, I don't know what I was thinking, but hopefully, with a better head on my shoulders, I can do this right. Starting off with, well, Izuku and his lady love. Basically, they're just often nice and tranquil and things. Everything's, nice until they're, oh boy, 5-year-old son comes in and be like, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, Daddy. I was like, damn Tasmanian devil. Izuku and Melissa just have to be like, yeah, Kayubi, what is it? And Kayubi would just be like, well, the, remember, guys, how I said the academy didn't start until, like, Izuku's school years? Like, My Hero Academia with, like, UA until 15. Well, I'm gonna rectify that. And put that back to 12. Because that just seemed absurd. Basically, little 5-year-old Kyubi had been doing this over and over again. Every time it would be his birthday, he would just barge in. And we're like, it's like 1 year closer. And so this would be the final time, as they would realize, dude was decked out in some shinobi clothing. He was ready to go. And, Melissa and Izuku would know what that meant. And basically just be like, oh, they grew up so damn fast. Kyubi would basically have, like, essentials. These are, like, kunai shuriken, even some Senbon, and ninja wire. And some other things, like a Tonto strapped to his back. And the taijutsu style that Kyubi would have learned would have been something that basically would have been developed over time with, Izuku and Melissa training in their free time, and Kyubi watching and learning, and then adapting into his own thing. He calls it the Kitsu style. or the Kitsu Taijutsu style, or Kitsu Taijutsu stance, or whatever. Yeah, so basically, he incorporates most of his father, but a little bit of his mother into his taijutsu, how he does that. And he's not that good at getting jutsu. Well, certain aspects of it, you could say. But some he's better than others. And whenever it comes to ninjutsu, not only does he have a lot of chakra, but his chakra is dense as hell. So they have been giving, Izuku and Melissa have been giving him, express permission to, if you can't do the regular Bunshin, you can do the Shadow Clone. Just try not to kill yourself with the immense amount you might be able to summon. And there's a little present that, his Grandma Kurama, decided to give him. Well, Izuku and Melissa weren't watching. Slip him some more kunai that looked different than his regular. Basically telling him, whispering over to him that these are Horatian kunai. The fourth Hokage, Naruto's father, her third container being Naruto. Use these. But he would have to have some expertise in Fu and Jutsu in order to figure out how to use them. Even then, he would still have to be very, very careful with how he did that. And also slipping him several poisons, to dip, his weapons, especially a Senbon, in order to make them all the more lethal. And don't act like this is the first time that, Kyuubi's been introduced into this, subject of poisoning, weapons. Oh, he's known it all the time. But, this is the first time he's actually going to get to actually practice use. Maybe, maybe not, It's just, the thought is nice. And as for what the dude's wearing, nothing but a little bit of Ambu style black pants. Especially he's got like a kunai pouch to his side. And, around his back, shuriken pouch. And on his back, up here is where the Tonto is, just like with all Ambu. And about, his sandals. His sandals are just standard, They're mostly standard except for the coloring. Instead of blue, they're black. And he's basically going with a gray t-shirt with the sleeves rolled up to, around his elbows. And a mesh oh, a mesh overshirt over that. Mesh armor. Fishnet mesh like that over that, basically. And, a certain black vest and black jacket. With basically the symbol of the village on the back of the jacket. And he also has black fingerless gloves that have like steel plates on the back. And if you're wondering if Kaibi's been doing any of that styling with his hair, is kind of almost golden hair, the way it's like a light freaking blonde, almost like a blonde white coloration. He's sort of gotten in like this low bun. Not a high bun, a low bun. Almost like in the style of, what's it called again? A top knot. It's almost like a low bun in the stylization of a top knot. Which I know how weird that sounds. That must sound. But trust me. And the thing that's making it a knot is black in color. Kaibi likes to think that it did help some with stealth. The mostly black and gray, stuff that he's wearing. That it will help him with stealth. And it helps that it's all lightweight material. None of it is like dragging him down. Actually, some of it actually, you might consider that it actually makes him faster. That was actually the intention, to make him like somewhat of a Yondaime incarnate. Like that fast. And since Kyuubi is literally the grandchild of Kurama, you can definitely sense intent. So it will be damn near impossible to sneak up on the kid. Unless he's like heavily distracted by something else at the time. Oh, that felt good. And now it's time Basically, it's the last few days of the academy, and some random name instructor. Basically, it's like an overview lesson on like the ways of the world now that everything's being divided up. More than it already has been. IRL. And so the lesson is basically about the 9 other villages around Hero Village, and basically if they're either an ally, neutral, or an enemy. Basically an allied village, a neutral village, or an enemy village. That's basically the gist of the part of the lesson. Like the first part of it is, the first part is actually just figuring out the damn names of the 9 other freaking villages. And, land, countries, shit, whatever. Basically, figuring out the damn names. The second part is, figuring out the, how much they may or may not want to kill you should you ever run into one of those ninja. Basically, allied, neutral, or enemy ninja. And basically, whenever it runs into the first question, basically, Kyuubi kind of forgot to study. So he's kind of, mibbed on this. Kind of does, but doesn't know. Like the brain fog. He forgot to study for the upcoming stuff. So he's kind of mibbed. Like, mid. So basically, someone else has to answer the question, even though the teacher asked Kyuubi to answer it. But since he couldn't really figure an answer out, someone else has to answer. Basically, the name of this person is Taisho Shimura, the daughter of Tanko and Mandalay. Yeah, Taisho, basically, the girl, Konoichi. And I mentioned she's kind of like the Sakura thing, where it's not really the Sakura thing, because with Sakura she was the top Konoichi, but she was always Sasuke-kun this and Sasuke-kun that. Basically, it's like half of that. She's smart, but she doesn't have the fangirl thing. So it's kind of like a half Sakura. And it's like she has the smarts, and she also can kick your ass. Yeah, she takes her shit seriously, like both in book smarts and being able to kick your ass, especially if you're a pervert. It's like the only pervert she has respect for is frickin' Jiraiya. But hey, that's to be expected. I mean, the way the dude, lived and died, and, what he did before he died, just everything. It's no wonder that he would be the only pervert that would be halfway respected. Cry your heart out, Ebisu. Closet perv. Anyways. And yes, Taisho is basically a pun on the Japanese word Taicho, which is, the Japanese word for captain. Yes, I know this. Because Bleach. And, basically I didn't want to make really complicated names. That'd be hard to remember. So I'd have to jot them down. So I just really didn't want to have to do that over and over and over again. So I just made a really simple name to remember. And I hope to God that I can remember this girl's freaking name. And basically, Taisho basically says that the 9 other, neighboring lands are the Storm Village, the Silk Village, the Poison Village, the String Village, the Oil Village, the Cardinal Village, the Swords Village, the Fruit Village, and the Cavern Village. And if you're wondering what I meant whenever I said cardinal, no, I'm not talking about cardinal sin. I'm talking about cardinal as in the bird. And since there's no bird country in this, because, that's long gone, I can have that. And she gets all that right. Yeah, so she basically gets all of that right, like all of the names, all the 9 other, neighboring places. And basically, the next question, basically that was said was, well, I mean, the names, but, also the affiliation, like, are they allied with us? Are they neutral with us and other villages? And, like, what's, like, are they enemies with us? And this kid, out of nowhere, decides to, interrupt her and Kyuubi. And then this kid's name being Naguma, pun on the word Nakama. It would be Nakuma instead of Nakama, like that Japanese word, Nakama. It would be Nakuma. and it would be Nakuma Aizawa. Yes, Aizawa's kid with Midnight. Yeah, Aizawa had a kid with Midnight. And it was Nakuma Aizawa. Basically, Shota had a kid with, Midnight, and it was Nakuma Aizawa. And Nakuma basically says that, Storm Village is neutral with them. Silk Village is their ally. They have an enemy in Poison Village. They're neutral with String Village. They're allies with Oil Village. They're neutral with Cardinal Village. They're enemies with Swords Village. They're allies with Fruit Village. And they're neutral with Cavern Village. And he's correct. Basically, Taisho and Nakuma are basically like the top of the top, the cream of the crop. And in the middle is, Kyubi. He's not the strongest or smartest. He's in the middle. As where, Taisho is like the smartest, but can also kick ass. Nakuma, well, he has his own, good. And basically, whenever it actually came to the time of the actual graduation exam, not just a bunch of studies that they were doing, about the village's allies and enemies and neutral parties. Basically, oh boy. Whenever it actually comes to the graduation, the test was all three of the relevant actual sensei would show up, and basically a bunch of, academy students would have to face off with them. That would be their graduation. They would have to learn how to cope with dealing with others, formulating plans with people you barely even know. Basically, they would have to learn teamwork the hard way. And it seems that after all the evaluation shit, basically, they'd be sent home not even knowing if they passed. But the next day, whenever they were told that they would return to the academy, they would be told, basically, Kyubi, Taisho, and Nakuma would be told that they passed. And the reason why they would be told in that order is because they were in a team with the first of the 3 Jonin senseis to actually have come out there. And the first of them would have been freaking Kai. Like Chisaki. Basically, it would be a flashback in just the Hokage, like the Hero Kage's office, with like Izuku, Tanko as the advisor, and the elders would be there, The village elders being Gran Torino, Nishjoke, and Aizawa. So yeah, just so you know, Nakuma is the son of one of the village elders. And Taisho is the daughter of the freaking Hirokage's advisor. And, Midnight and Mandalay are also Ambu. So, yeah. No wonder they were that good. Basically, 3 people would have been brought in. Like, 2 people alongside Kai would have been brought in. Would have been Toshinori and Toya. Yeah, because they would have gotten Toya to join. Actually got Dabi to join and accept his real name, Toya. As long as he's away from Endeavor. And basically, Toshinori and Toya would be the 2 other Jonin senseis that popped up that one time, the final exam for, graduate. It's basically to know if you are, getting material. And basically, Toshinori and Toya are told their teams, and then told to get out, like Vamanus, for this bitch. And basically, Kai just waiting, on the balls of his feet, kind of, just like, okay, who am I gonna get? And then just like, not only like the freaking, advisor's daughter, who is also, Ambu related, but, freaking son of an elder who's also Ambu related, and basically the son of the Kage of your village are all of your responsibility. That's right. Their teamwork, those three specifically, their teamwork was so good with each other that they just decided to assemble them on the same team. And basically, those three don't even know that. Like, none of the Genin know who they're assigned to yet. Because it's not that day yet. Basically, Kyuubi, Taisho, and Akuma are basically all assembled onto Kai Chisaki's team. Basically, Team Kai. Either Team 1 or Team Kai you pick. So, yeah. Kai just kind of hit with that revelation there that he's just wow. Okay, tomorrow's meeting, and then after that, we officially get shit started. Okay, now let's do this. And so, whenever the next day comes around, and Kyuubi, Tosha, basically, Kyuubi, Taisho, and Nakuma come in, and they're basically just like, okay, we just gotta wait. And their names get called up as like part of like, oh, your Jonin sensei is Kai Chisaki, who was like the main general in the freaking war, the first war of this village. Village is, history that you guys have studied over and over and over again in this classroom, this very classroom. So you would know about the guy, I would hope, by now. And, Kai's entrance isn't really anything flashy. He just walks in, and it's just like, okay, where are they? And basically, they're kind of the last ones to get picked up. It's not really that Kai's late. It's just that he's fashionably late. He's not like Kakashi late, where he's like late for hours. He's just fashionably late. And, well, he actually does have a good reason. Like, he was so nervous about having to deal with such, like, high-level shit that he kind of messed up his sleep schedule a little bit. Like, on the outside, he looks calm, cool, and, determined to turn these Genin into proper shinobi. But on the inside, he's a nervous wreck. I mean, this dude was, the general of the First War. But his resolve kind of crumbles whenever it comes to this shit. And whenever it comes to introductions, well, basically the first one to speak up is good old loudmouth here. Taisho. Yeah, I forgot to mention she's a loudmouth. Well, from time to time, she is. Wanting to get the attention of her sensei, she basically says that, oh, well, basically as team introductions go by, kind of get the sense that, like in tradition of wind style weapons, you would think, Leaf Village, like certain thing, would be trench knives, but no, actually, she's kind of like in the vein of Katana from like fucking Mortal Kombat. She has like battle fans in her hands, individual ones, and then she has one big one in the vein of Tabari strapped to her back. Not only individual ones, but one big one strapped to her back. But it's lightweight, so it really doesn't hinder her movement. And, I guess in the same vein as her father in this, more or less specializes on the wind affinity than the earth one. Because, big surprise, Mandalay also has earth affinity. Yeah, she has earth and water, actually. So, yeah, Taisho actually has 3 affinities. And actually, earth is her weakest. She has a stronger affinity for water than she does earth. But her strongest affinity is wind. You can tell by the fact that she has 3 fans. And they're all battle fans. Just one is really big. And 2 are small. And, well, whenever it comes to Nakuma, he basically, how the Sand siblings have their own gimmicks. Like, Gar has a sand, Tamari has her, fans. Basically, act like this is the team of Sand Ninja, like, minus Gara. Because Nakuma's thing is puppetry. But unlike Konkuro's, which is, like, very, low tier, it's basically like sorcery tier puppetry if you gave him enough time to improve. Right now it's not too great, but there's potential there. It has the potential to grow into something actually fierce. And unlike Taisho, Nakuma is actually rather quietly and reserved. Rather quiet and reserved, unlike Taisho, who, while not, like this all the time, can be a little bit of a, loudmouth. And, Kyuubi's just a ball of energy, just like Naruto. And one thing that does help Kyuubi with the whole Senbon poison thing is that, with, puppets, Nakuma can actually kind of help him with that because puppets can use, poison Senbon and other poison weapons and shit. So yeah, that can be indeed considered a helpful thing. So there is one other thing about Taisho that she has it, but she doesn't really focus as much on it as she does her fans. She has the ability to use medical jutsu, though she isn't really a big fan of it. Though it would be nice to have at least one medic on each team. And since Nakuma's deal is puppets, and do you really think like Kyuubi is going to be a medic then? So even though it's not her preferred thing, she still holds on to it and improves it from time to time. And so basically, whenever that comes around, Kai is just like, just don't piss off me. Just don't piss me off. Just piss me off or get on my nerves. And we'll work along quite swimmingly. Trust me, kitties. The one thing that Taisho and Akuma are learning about Kyuubi is that he has a good idea of if he were ever to summon animals, what his summon animal would be. His preferred one. And now for the VIPs of the village. Basically, the Ambu captain is Midnight, or goes by her alias of Frog, and the three others are Tokoyami, who goes by Corvid, Mandalay, who goes by Lioness, and Bakugo, who goes by Tiger. However, the Ambu Royal Guard, on the other hand, well, their captain, who is the wife of the Hirokage, she goes by the codename. Well, she's basically Melissa Shield, and she goes by the codename of Beetle. And the three other Ambu Royal Guard are Shoto, Kirishima, and Toga, going with the aliases of Wolf, Dragon, and Hyena. As for the Shinobi and Civilian Council, the Shinobi Council consists of Natsuo, Spinner, Fuyumi, Stain, and Kirigiri. The Civilian Council contains Ingenium, Nejire, Tamaki, Mitsuki, and Masaru. And the two village signing and training are Koda and Eri. Oh my.